Hey, Pat Rigsby here, and in today's episode, I want to talk with you about being humble and getting better. Let's get to it.
Welcome to the Fitness Business School podcast, the show for fitness business owners who want to grow their income, increase their impact, and improve their lifestyle. Be sure to listen till the end of this episode because we have a brand new special offer exclusive for listeners. So stay tuned.
So really, a lot of my job is how do I aggregate information and turn it into improvement, whether it's information that I can aggregate and distill down into a usable system that my clients can use, or if I'm just kind of gathering information and sifting through it and applying it myself in my own business. And I think a lot of us are the same in that regard, but I don't necessarily know that everybody gets the outcome they want, even if they recognize that, well, yeah, that's what I do. I go learn a bunch of stuff and then I try to distill it down into something I can use and apply. So in my case, I sit in a really unique seat in my job, right? I've been coaching business owners for almost 20 years now. I've owned or co-owned almost 40 businesses in the fitness industry. And the number of people who have been in my coaching programs that have gone on to do amazing things, in many ways, they've certainly gone further than I could ever hope to. It's staggering. If you look around, I've had people like Eric Cressy and Pete Dupuis, Mike Robertson, Bill Hartman, Luca Hocevar, Vince Gabriel, as franchisees back when I had a franchise organization. I've had so many people, top to bottom, that have been in coaching programs or had hired me for consulting, everybody from Perform Better to Precision Nutrition. And there are just so many people that I've been able to connect with in that way. And then there are a lot of people that frankly may not be as well known that are doing just as amazing stuff in their own world, whether it's kind of just being the premier destination in their local market in fitness or being behind the scenes for a business or a corporation or something. And these guys are all out here doing great work. But the challenge, I think, is a lot of times people, they almost make it like one way, right? They say, okay, I'm going to put out information. I'm going to be, it's almost like going to a seminar. Like it's a one-way conversation, whereas I get so many one-on-one conversations. I've probably had more one-on-one conversations with owners in our industry than anybody over the last 15 or 20 years. And I'm always trying to gather information. And just yesterday, I recorded a podcast with Eric Cressy, and then I talked to another good friend who he has a venture capital fund, an AI, and they're going to raise 9 figures. And so I've got these wonderfully smart people, but I got to talk to people who were solopreneurs and small single site location owners. And frankly, I learned stuff from all of them. Every one of them created kind of a thought train for me, or got me to be curious, or gave me a nugget that I could kind of distill down. And so what I'm trying to do is take that knowledge and transplant it to other places. And in the spot that I sit in, we've got clients all over North America. We've got a few clients in other corners of the world. And I'm trying to just say, okay, well, what's working in Texas? What's working in Washington? What's working in Boston? How do I kind of transplant those ideas to other markets where it may be fresh and new and give somebody a competitive advantage? And that's, frankly, it's a lot of fun. And even in my non-professional life, which feels kind of like my other full-time job in coaching baseball, recently, like motor preferences, it's been a hot topic. So I've gone and said, okay, can I ask these college baseball coaches about it? Can I ask this PhD about it? Can I ask these guys in the private sector? And just start to aggregate information so it's something that's usable and I can share it with players that I coach or coaches that I come in contact with. And for me, that's a lot of fun. But I see 2 stumbling blocks that people run into with this. And I want to help you get past that, right? because if you're giving me your time and attention and you're here for information, I want to help you use it. The first one is simply humility. There are plenty of people with big businesses or in leadership positions, or maybe not that far along, that think they have all the answers or think they are too high up the ladder to take advice from other people. I mean, I had somebody recently tell me that they were too far ahead of the people in a particular coaching program, so it wasn't appropriate for them, even though they were probably like smack in the middle of the people in that program. And their business had been pretty stagnant and actually had lost ground prior to joining the program. And my guess is that's probably a big piece of why. It is not having the humility to say, man, we can learn from anybody. We can learn from the environment that we're in, the people who may be one step behind us, two steps behind us, as well as the people who are 10 steps ahead of us. And frankly, sometimes learning from the people who may not be as far along as us financially or whatever other professional metrics that we have, learning from them, I have found often maybe just as valuable in some ways, because if I trace back and say, you know what, there are a few pieces of my foundation that were missing, and that's what has prevented me from being able to build on top of it and grow. Well, some of those people that are still in those foundational stages may have figured it out, and it may be enough to jog something and really help you dial it in. So I think humility matters so much that, hey, I can learn from anywhere. I can learn from this, that, and it doesn't have to be in our industry. It doesn't have to be from somebody who's done 8 figures or 9 figures. They all, like, if you're attentive, everybody's got something they can teach you. And then the second piece of this that I think is a stumbling block for people is that they don't transfer knowledge to implementation or action. And you get a lot of people who jump on every podcast or Zoom or go to every seminar, and they just don't put things into action. I had a good friend who has since passed away, Sam Bakhtiar, who you may very well be familiar with. I mean, you can go back and find early episodes of this podcast where I interviewed Sam. And Sam was a good friend and a client who kind of epitomizes this one, right? He had a successful training studio in like Chino Hills, California, and then kind of ran into a few obstacles business-wise and decided he wanted to start a group training business. A boot camp is what we were calling it. And I mean, I was right alongside him. There was a Perform Better in Long Beach. Sam came over and he bought equipment that we loaded into the back of his car at Perform Better Long Beach. And that was the first boot camp. And at that point, Sam was getting around everywhere. He was going to every seminar, every conference that he could go to. He was kind of like a seminar tourist, if you will. And then all of a sudden, he just went radio silent, right? Like he stopped going, he stopped consuming and said, okay, now I've got enough information. I'm going to distill it down and execute. And I'd text him every now and again. And then before you knew it, I texted a couple times and I didn't get a response. I'm like, man, that's kind of odd. And then I was going to California and reached out, and an assistant had answered that number, and he said, hey, he's got another number so he could kind of be more focused and private. And then all of a sudden he called me like 2 minutes later, and we started talking about it. And he had grown to 4 locations in like the matter of a year and was doing 8 figures, and then it just snowballed. I started working with him as a consultant, and he licensed his program. Heck, his program became the foundation for Gym Launch. His Lose 20 and 6, Alex Hormozy was his apprentice, and Sam let him go kind of run that same challenge with his stuff. And Sam turned his business into a franchise, built a supplement company on top of it, and turned it into a 9-figure enterprise. But the reason I want to tell that story is like, man, there are so many other people that were at those seminars. There's so many other people that consume the podcast and the trainings and the videos that he did, or at least they had access to, and they consumed their own kind of collection of information. There aren't a whole lot of people who went out and put that into practice and kind of said, look, I am just going to execute. My job is to take knowledge and execute. And so if you're not doing that, the ratio of consumption to production probably has to change. You probably need to say, okay, for everything that I consume, I need to go find at least one way to execute it. I don't care if it's this episode of the podcast or the book that you read or the next seminar you go to. Say, I can't move to the next thing till I implement something from this thing. So if you've been stuck, if you've not maybe made the progress you wanted to make, I mean, we operate in a world now where there's more information easily accessible to us than ever before. I mean, I remember having to go to the library to get information. I remember having to hop in the car or do something to travel to seminars to hear people speak. And now it's like everybody's got videos available for free. They've got podcasts available for free. But don't let the access to the information confuse you with actual progress. You actually have to use it. So be humble, implement what you learn, you'll be successful. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Fitness Business School. Before you go, I have a quick announcement. One of the things that we've been doing with our current clients is taking them through this ideal business diagnostic. And really what it is this checklist that allows you to pinpoint exactly what your business needs next so you can keep improving, keep growing, and build a business that you love to own. One that pays you well, one that allows you to have the impact you want to have, and one that allows you to have a lifestyle that you truly enjoy. In this diagnostic, we walk through everything and we do an evaluation and can instantly pinpoint what you need to do next to build that business that you want. I'm going to extend this opportunity to get on with either me or my team and take you through this evaluation and fix your business's most vital needs fast. So if we take you through this, you're going to be able to make those vital changes that you need to finally have what I call your ideal business. If you'd be interested in going through this entirely free, risk-free diagnostic with us and learn what you already have in place, what you're doing well, and where your greatest opportunities for rapid improvement are, just shoot me an email with diagnostic in the subject line to pat@patrigsby.com. Again, an email to pat@patrigsby.com with diagnostic in the subject line will get you scheduled and take you through this evaluation to help you build the business you want.